Hi, everyone. Well, today I want to introduce you to an amazing graduate from the University of Vedic Astrology. She's a graduate, she's a teacher. Emily, you have been with us for a long time, and your dedication to teaching and learning astrology has been incredible. And I am so proud to have you as the rising star or the star of the month. You are the star of the month. And I want people to learn more about you because I think you're amazing. You've done so many great things at the university, such as writing. You've written a research project for the magazine, Joni Patry's Astrology Insights. And you put together a lot of work concerning volcanic eruptions and historical events that prove a very specific astrological key point that you've been researching. But most of all, you are so sweet and you are so kind and you are such a delight to work with. I want the world to know more about you. So you are our rising star of the month, or the star of the month. And I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself so people can get to know you. Tell us, where you come from, how you got into astrology, and how you got into the university. Go ahead. You have the floor and speak. Now it's your turn.
Okay. Well, thank you, Joni. I guess first and foremost, I'm a mom of 3 boys, and that was my focus for so many years. But I've always loved psychology, Carl Jung, archetypes, personality assessments, just, all of that sort of stuff, just as a general interest. And my children went to elementary school at a Waldorf school. It's actually all the Rudolf Steiner teachings, that it's a way of education based on that. And I found it fascinating that they actually broke up the students by their temperaments. It was very fascinating. It goes back to Hippocrates and the 4 humors and, the personalities and temperaments. And I watched these kids, interact with each other. They would actually separate them out for various activities. And it was fascinating to watch their interactions being broken up this way. And I thought, wow, this is fascinating. I might want to formally study this and become a Waldorf teacher. I have Jupiter in my 3rd house, as we were just talking about. So learning and teaching is a very natural thing for me. But at the start of my Jupiter Dasha, when I turned 40, I found you and the University of Vedic Astrology. And all of these interests of mine just sort of culminated perfectly in this way of studying humans. You can see anything in a chart. And it was fascinating to me. I signed up for the university on one of your January, semester 1 start dates, and off I went. So it's been a wonderful journey.
We have a lot in common. You know that, don't you? We both have 3 boys.
Yes.
And I absolutely love Carl Jung, and I was a psychology major in college. So all of that, spirituality, astrology, and I have Jupiter in my 3rd house too. So we're
right.
we have a lot. No wonder we think like we do. Yes. And I remember you even came to the conference and came to my house. I mean, you are dedicated to really learning this. I guess when you decide something, I mean, you're there. It's not kind of like maybe kind of sorta, because you dove into this. And I mean, you were, star student. That's another reason why you're here today. You are a star student. But gosh, I gotta say, people that graduate under you are so lucky. Because what were you telling me just how long you spend with people? Not that this is normal, people.
No, it's not normal.
It's not normal, but you are so dedicated and you love the teaching process. And most of all, you love the community of the people with the university. Tell me a little bit more about your experience with the university and teaching.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love working with students in any semester and all of their questions, and it just helps me become a better astrologer. Sometimes they'll ask me something and I'll say, oh, okay, even I need to look this up and figure out the right thing here. But then when students go through all 5 of your semesters, they get to the 6th semester, and as they're working through those final charts to, take their ultimate, final exam with you, we also, as tutors, provide individual one-on-one sessions to teach how do you actually go through a chart? How do you sit there with a client and get through it in a 1-hour reading? There's so much, just, how do you filter that information? And so these sessions, you would think they would take an hour. We do a practice reading, but I love astrology. All the students love astrology. So it's very well known in my house that if I'm doing a Zoom with one of the students, I might be on the computer for 3 hours because we get so into the charts. We just love it. We talk about everything. We don't just study one chart. We go through, so many things. Whatever I have in my Parashara's light, whatever they have in their Parashara's light, we bring up all the charts and study them. And in fact, a lot of my readings actually come from the students. They'll ask me to do a reading for them, like as a client, just because, they love the process so much. So it's just a lot of fun getting to know people that way and working with them on that level.
It is. The university, I'm so proud to say we've become such a tight-knit community of people.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's hard to find friends that you can talk with, especially where are you living right now?
Yeah, so I've been in Nashville for a long time now. My 3 boys grew up here. And what's funny about the friend thing is, I know all sorts of people who love astrology in my normal life, but when I went to your conference, it was the first time that I could talk to people and say whatever came to me straight out of the gate, the first thought, no matter how strange or whatever it was relating to the planets. And it was just normal. I didn't have to check myself like I normally like in the grocery store or something in real life where you just can't say all those things all the time. So that was just really fun. Discovering that in the community.
All of us get what you're saying right now. All of us, you gotta what do you do? And you're like, well, you got to feel them out first before you tell them exactly what you do. It's kind of like, well, I'm a counselor. And
yes, I work for an online university.
And then you kind of somehow feel them out where you can say, I'm an astrologer. With where they don't look at you like you've got 3 heads, so but it's true, we all need this community where we can talk our language and feel like-minded souls coming together. And that's what the university does. And another thing that I think is so wonderful about the approach that all of us take with the university, especially you, is we teach people how to read a chart. It's not just let's talk about concepts, let's talk about the aspects or this. No, we learn how to apply it to help people in real true to life readings. Don't you feel it? And you're a professional now. You do your own chart readings from what you gathered and what you come together with the university. People can schedule a reading with you through my website now. And how long have you been doing charts professionally, Emily?
Really ever since you put up your link to the graduates. I've been doing that formally through your website, but then a lot of my astrology business has just been organic. The people in my life who knew that I was studying this, they couldn't wait for me to finish because I would say, I'll tell you things, but let me finish studying this first to get a good handle on it. And I think that's so important to study charts of people we know intimately when we're students, because we know all the events of their lives, we know how they tick, and that's very meaningful when we get into not only the planets and their placements, but those nakshatras. They're so deep and rich with meaning. And when you can see that playing out in real time in real life, that's just that brings astrology to life for sure.
You said it so clearly and so perfectly right there. Yes, that you can see the charts playing out. And you never forget when you learn that way. It's not a rote memory thing. This is living and experiencing real astrology, and
Mhm.
that's what you do so well. And yeah, you've been with me for a long time. So I want people to know you can go to the university website, universityofvedicastrology.com, and you can go to the chart readings from the students. And Emily is listed there, and you should
Mhm.
really look her up because she is so dedicated and so good at what she does. And I'm really honored and so proud that you're with us. We're so lucky to have you, Emily, truly, because you've been a great help to me. Even when we were setting up the whole university website, Thinkific, you were right there helping us,
Mhm.
you know, getting all the bugs out and figuring out how everything works. And, you gave
Mhm.
your time so generously, and you always do. And it's like, it takes somebody like you, that's a mother that
Right.
takes care of.
Well, I've been so excited to see your university grow because when I went through, I had a wonderful tutor. Fief was my tutor. But you hadn't implemented yet the practice readings in the 6th semester and all these other things that have come about because you listen to your students so well and you take in all that feedback and you just make the university better and better. So I've loved being a tutor and helping, all the students and just, it's like you've grown overnight.
True. It's true.
Sometimes when I log on to a new semester one and I just go through the Zoom and it's just pages and pages and pages of people. And I'm so thrilled that people are finding this.
I know. So the thing is that because you know what I always say, and I said this in our last meeting, we have these tutor meetings and we have student meetings because at the university we're always looking for feedback, how to improve and make it
Mhm.
better. And it's like a group effort. It's not just
Right.
me coming up with something. Oh my God, this is all everyone else's university as well. And I know you
Mhm.
feel a part of it in such a way because everyone offers these great ideas and suggestions. And then we do them and we're like, oh my God, this is so incredible.
Right.
How pulling all of our minds together and we're all doing this as a group effort. It's really, it's
Mhm.
team effort on anything,
Mhm.
and this and in my last meeting, I know you were there because you're always so dedicated and you're there. I always say I am so lucky because of the people that surround me and support me. My
Mhm.
team members have made this what it is. All of you
Mhm.
are
Yeah.
really, UVA. And
Well, you attract such dynamic people from interesting backgrounds. And, I love getting to know all the new students because, they'll say, this is what I do and this is what I've studied before. And I mean, sometimes it's something I've never heard of.
yeah,
And, and I mean, they bring so much to the university. So it's a wonderful collaborative, effort.
it
Um,
is.
Everyone just growing the university together, really.
Yeah, and we have all these wonderful research groups. We have an amazing research group that's been working for a while on medical astrology. And you were part of some research groups. Tell me a little bit more about the research that you did with others and in your articles and things you're working on
Mhm.
currently right now.
Well, yeah, I started I wanted to help Gotham because he's your research guru and helps you with so many things. And I said, hey, Gotham, if you need any help, let me know. And that's what started my looking into the volcanic eruptions. I don't know, it just started me looking up one little thing and the next little thing. And then I started doing a deep dive into all the charts and finding all those similarities. And it just went from there. I'm really good when I get down a rabbit hole. Got to get to the end of the rabbit hole. Um, and in fact, I've started a new bit of research and like baby basic beginner stages. I'm looking at Elon Musk's chart and Jeff Bezos's chart. Sort of like you do with presidents of countries. How do you tell what's going on with the company based, or the country based on the leader? I'm taking the Amazon and Tesla charts. And it's okay. How do the CEOs, the founders of these companies, how does it all tie together? So it's fascinating. There's actually, I have an entire list of things and I have to filter through, but I'm really good. Once I start down one thing, I just can't stop. So
it's so research like that is so much fun.
yes.
You know why? Because we discover things that,
Yes.
that's not in the books. And then you
Mhm.
see it happen time after time and repeated, and you know that there's something to it. And it's like
Yes.
you're opening up a new door to something specific that's really all of us. I've always said this, when you bring all these brilliant minds together, we're going
Mhm.
to advance the knowledge in astrology. I know we've taken the ancient knowledge of Vedic astrology from the ancients, which is phenomenal, but we're doing the research projects where I think we're advancing it, because we should
Mhm.
be advancing as time goes on. Everything's always
Right.
advancing and growing, and information, just like technology, astrology is the
Mhm.
same thing. So
Oh,
I
absolutely.
encourage everyone like you to do this kind of research. One thing, because it's fun, and
It is fun.
secondly, it is fun, and it's so fun to share it with other people, and then they add things that you didn't think of, which is
Mhm.
amazing. So tell me a
Right.
little bit more about this research. Are you looking at the charts of companies or first start dates when maybe something with the company or business started, along with the CEOs?
So what got me started was actually Uranus and Pluto when they were conjunct in the 1960s and 70s. And people who have the Uranus and Pluto really tight in their chart. And, it started out with, Pluto being a sign of a potential company with a monopoly,
Mhm.
or a CEO of a company that has a monopoly in a certain area. So it just started out as some Pluto research. And then it was like, well, some of these interesting people have Uranus right there too. So they're innovators in their field.
Right.
Jeff Bezos sort of changed the face of, the service industry, how, we get products to people. Then you've got Elon Musk and, cars and all the things that he's done. So I started there. There's a whole list of people who have this Uranus and Pluto conjunction, but it's just, they had it so tight and they really were innovators in their field, and their charts are so tightly connected to their company's charts. So it sort of started out from there. And maybe it will end up being a more Uranus Pluto related project. Maybe it will be CEOs and companies, but that's what I do. I just get into these strange ideas and
We all do that.
keep on going. But you don't have to be a 6-semester graduate to do it. Anybody can do this. That's the beauty of studying astrology. You can be in semester 1 and help out with research. So I just love it.
I
And
know.
so, although it's hard for me to do it when I'm doing 3-hour Zooms with students.
I know. Trust me,
So,
I know.
yeah.
But, sometimes we forfeit a little sleep, if you know what I
Right.
mean.
Right.
Because we get so into it. But, I find it so important that the outer planets really are instrumental in the change in the future events and trends and how they all go. They're so
Right.
transpersonal. They're not necessarily so much, they change the future. And that's where, Vedic astrology didn't use the outer planets to begin with,
Mhm.
but I found a way to use them where you're looking at them where they really do connect to all people. In other words, the collective unconsciousness. And therefore, because they they deal with generational trends in the collective unconsciousness of people, they're really about the future rather than the really personal stuff. Of course, they do affect us personally, but the generations, such as you
Mhm.
mentioned, the 1960s, these are people born in the 60s that have that generational quality, that have created all these new trends and inventions, electric cars, and
Right.
the service that gets everything to our doorstep the way that Amazon has done. It's amazing really to see the trends these outer planets have produced. And of course, the people born during those trends are the generations of those outer planets. Fascinating work, Emily.
Yeah. It's
That's
absolutely fascinating, and it's not going to happen again until for a long, long time. So it really is a marker in time of,
and
this generation.
the Neptune Uranus conjunction was the time that all the cell phones came out and all the
Right.
communications changed. And you can look at those markers, as you're saying, for what happened. And therefore, the people born with that conjunction, they're the ones that are with the technology, such as the what is it where they're coming up with the new thing where we go to these other worlds, virtual reality. That's
Oh, right.
so I always thought that the Neptune Uranus is the virtual reality that's going to be of the future. That generation born in the 90s, the mid 90s, are going to bring
Right.
that to the forefront in a big, huge way.
Mhm.
So you're on to something fabulous. I love that. So
I'll bring it all to the university when I get through
yes.
it.
Yes, and then we'll love to have that article in the magazine, Joni Patry's Spiritual Insights. That's the new magazine. If all
Right.
of you out there don't know about it, the students write for it, and we have a lot of authors that are, famous, that have been writing astrology for years, and just bringing all this information, bringing it all into the future where we can keep expanding this knowledge and making it real and bigger. And also, one of my big missions is to make astrology more mainstream, where everyone knows about it and doesn't have the reactions that we get before we feel around and tell people what we do.
I,
In the
yes.
conservative real world is what I'm talking about. They're just kind of like, you do what?
Yes. Yeah, I would love to find a way eventually to even bring it back to children, taking some of the mythology in all of these nakshatras and bringing it down to an appropriate level.
Absolutely.
Just
I'm going to be looking for a children's book out of you one day.
Oh yes, I can't. I get so excited. I can't decide which thing I want to work on.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I already told my grandchildren that I'm well, they don't know what I'm talking about yet. They're too young. But I told my kids I'm going to write some astrology children's books and put their names in it. So
oh, fun. You
so
should do
maybe
that.
one of my grandchildren will follow in my footsteps, because obviously none of my 3 boys are doing it so far.
They're too busy.
No, that's true. That's true. So any last thoughts or anything you want to say, Emily, before we close? This has been fun.
Oh yeah, I just want to encourage anyone who thinks they're a boring mom and they don't have time for something like this. Oh my goodness, yes, yes. Take a chance, study with the university. It's amazing. I never thought that this could be something I would do when I grow up type of job. And I don't even really think of it as a job because I love it. But if this is an interest of yours, you'll find a great community in the university.
Thank you so much. There is no way you're a boring mom. You are a wonderful, dedicated mom, and your kids are going to grow up to be wonderful, beautiful people because of all the love and attention. I know, I've seen you give your children. You're an amazing mom. And yes, and I know that they love you so much that they'll defend your astrology too.
Hopefully, like your boys do.
Exactly like my boys have done. They'll defend the astrology because they know how much we love them. That's it.
Right.
Yeah. So you have been such a pleasure and a delight to visit with today, Emily.
Oh, thank you, Joni.
Thank you for everything you do with the university. We are blessed to have you. You're such an asset to the university. I can't even thank you enough. So with that, I hope everyone's gotten to know Emily through this, and just a sweetheart and great soul that she is. So thank you.
Thank you,
Namaste.
Joni.
Sure.